the Madison County Fiscal Court to order. Kenny?
Master King.
Here.
Master Barger.
Here.
Master Hughes.
Here.
Master Combs.
Here.
Judge Clark.
Here. We've got a special event today, but I want to go on and get the small things out of the way. Everybody's had a chance to look at the minutes of the last meeting. If there are no changes or discussion, a motion will be in order to approve those as submitted in your packets.
So moved. Second.
Master King.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. Treasurer's report, will be in 2 weeks, and Glenn is here too also. We'll go right into order of business, and this is a very, very special day for a whole lot of people. Us, Larry, his family, and all friends of Jerry Combs. I can't say enough about Jerry and what he did for Madison County, the job he did as sheriff, the short time he was in there. But we all had a great working relationship with him, and it really worked out good. So at this time, I'd like to ask Mike Cole, our sheriff, to stand and everybody follow him in the Pledge of Allegiance, and the flag is in the back.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Thank you, Sheriff.
Honor guard. Full.
Detail. 10. Carry. Color. Oh. Detail. Halt. Right. Face. Forward. Mark. Post. Up, out, face. Freeze in. Arc. Order. Arc. Right. Face. Forward. Mark.
Be seated. At this time, it's a real pleasure for me to ask Representative Rita Smart to come up and say a few words about this prestigious and wonderful ceremony.
Thank you, Judge Clark and members of the Fiscal Court and members of the community. It's an honor to be your state representative and to have a day of celebration. This is a really happy day. We should celebrate every day. Now, there are some days that we don't feel like celebrating, but the scripture tells us that joy comes in the morning, and this morning is a joyful time. I'd like to reflect with you all for a few minutes, maybe give you a little history lesson. I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to work in Madison County for 32 years with some wonderful people. And one of the first persons that I came aware of and familiar with when I came to work as the county extension agent was a lady named Joan Elder Cole. She served as our 4-H agent for many, many years. And she would have been here today, fiscal court members, but she had a death in the family. And one of the stories that I always remember Joan Elder telling and celebrating was about a simpler time in life. Now, our young people don't know about simple times. Today, it's all rush, rush. But in an earlier time, we had 4-H in every school in the county. We as extension agents would go out to the schools. We'd spend the entire day. The girls would go to the basement and they would learn sewing and cooking. And the guys would stay upstairs and they'd learn about electricity. And one of the wonderful things that we taught our young people during that time was citizenship. We talked to them about the importance of conducting a meeting, and we talked to them about government. We talked to them about the flag of the United States. And in those 4-H club meetings, they learned how to conduct a meeting. They learned how to speak in front of the public. And then at the end of the year, we would have the school rally before we'd have the county rally. And we would go to each school, and the young people would bring in their projects, and it would be like a field day that we would talk about today. We'd go out in the yard, and we'd have lots of fun. But one of the best things that we would do during that time was something called the hog calling contest. Now, who in the world would think that something that silly would create that much fun and excitement for young children? But you know, that's the way how life is. It's the little things, the least expensive things, the things that we really remember. And so my first recollection or knowledge of a young man named Jerry Combs was from Joan Elder, who would talk all the time about those Combs boys down there at Silver Creek School. And Jerry Combs always won the hog calling contest. Now, I grew up on a farm in Carlisle, Nicholas County, and our former county judge is even here today. And I can tell you that I know how to call hogs. Woo, sir! That's a cow. Did you know that? Woo! Well, I don't know how Jerry did it, but he won it every single year. And I don't know if you all take the Berea Citizen, but in the Reflections this summer, it had that article about Jerry Combs winning the hog calling contest. Now, I'm sure today that he's looking down on us and he's thinking, it was a wonderful time. Some of the other lessons that he learned in 4-H that he shared throughout his entire life was his love of people, his love of serving people. He learned about gardening. When he was elected the county sheriff, he would bring the produce over here to his office. He would talk about canning and all the things that he would grow and share with people. So as we celebrate today, part of my job as the state representative is to recognize accomplishments and to recognize people, all people. Now, some people we think are more important than other people, but you know that's not true. We all are the same. We all have the same abilities to share what we have, those special abilities, with everybody. And no matter what you do, it's important to some people. You may not be featured in the newspaper, you may not be on television every day, but all of you, all of us are important, and we can make a contribution to our community. Now, I never realized as a state representative all the many things and the issues that you have to contend with. When I was on the city commission, Mayor, we had maybe 5 or 6 major issues. But when you get to the state, that multiplies, sometimes 2- and 3-fold. But fortunately, you have people in your community that support you and help you and try to get you to remember who the people are, where they've come from, and who needs to be recognized. And so one day I was sitting in the chamber, I remember this just like it was yesterday, and I always put my iPhone up here so I can see if somebody's sending me a text. And a text came in. It was from Mr. Johnson. He and Mr. Holt had been talking. And they said, you know, it would be nice if we recognized Sheriff Jerry Combs. Maybe we could name a road for him. Well, I got to thinking, I don't remember. Do we have any roads named for people in Madison County?
No, really.
Not really. Now, you go up in eastern Kentucky or you go in western Kentucky, you see a lot of roads. And I thought about that. And I thought that would be a wonderful way that we could remind our community, we could remind these little young children as they grow and as they drive down a road, what does that mean? What does that sign mean? That means one man made a difference. And that means that you could make a difference. So today I am honored that the family, that I could do this small thing so that in the big picture of life, one man will be recognized. And your family will be recognized for the contribution that you've made to our community. And that your heirs, these young people, will continue to make in our community. And that you will go forth and you will help other people the way Jerry Combs helped the people while he was here. Now, I could probably tell some other stories, but since I messed up on the hog calling, I guess I'll just call on our next speaker, who is now the sheriff, Mike Cole.
Thank you, Rita. Well, today is a very special day. And I want to personally thank the Color Guard for their presentation of the colors today. Sheriff Combs was very instrumental in having the Color Guard. So it's so appropriate that the first time that they did the Color Guard was at his funeral, and then again today. Good morning. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be able to come here today and speak about a friend, Sheriff of Madison County. Don't do that. I'm first like to recognize Rita Smart, State Representative Rita Smart, for making this day come possible. It wouldn't have happened if she hadn't have helped out in it. And I also like to thank Marie Rader for what she's done in sponsoring this, and the General Assembly, Kentucky General Assembly, for making this come true, because it's for a very special person. You know, this is honoring my friend's life and his career. By naming the Highway 1016 the Sheriff Jerry Combs Memorial Highway. I knew this was going to be difficult, but I didn't think it would be that much. My friend Jerry spent over 30 years in law enforcement, serving at the Berea Police Department, and also serving as assistant chief, where he retired in 2006. He continued his passion of serving his community when he was elected sheriff in 2010. I have very fond memories of Jerry and of Larry, his twin brother, as we were growing up. It was like going to Kings Island when I went out to Jerry and Larry's, to the Combs' farm. They had old ball uniforms that their dad would bring home, and we would wear. We would play basketball, baseball, football. They had a pond that we would fish in, and then we would go swimming. It didn't matter how cold or how hot. Our friendship carried on into our adult lives as well. We still played ball together. We still went fishing on long fishing trips. We look forward to that. We had other friends that hung around us, and we all enjoyed doing what we did. Our families went to picnics, went to each other's houses. We just had an absolute ball. I can say and I can describe Jerry Combs because I knew him very well. Jerry was an excellent son. Loved his mother, loved his father deeply. He loved his brothers. He loved his sisters. Jerry was an excellent father to his children. He loved his friends. He had many. Never let them down. He loved to garden. He loved to cook. And he wanted you to eat everything that he cooked. He loved his Cincinnati Reds. He loved his UK Wildcats. Jerry was a tremendous athlete growing up. Jerry loved life. He believed in hard work. And just like his brother, Larry, he did not like to lose at anything. Jerry is a very special person. He's a great person. He's a true friend to many. And I want to say today that it is a tribute for this dedication, for this highway to be named after Jerry. Kentucky 1016, also known growing up as the Bobtown Stretch. This road is a road to Jerry's house for years. It's the same road where his parents raised him. It's the same road where his children were raised. And it's the same road where he left us to be with the Lord. How fitting is the name of the Sheriff Jerry Combs Memorial Highway to honor a person with the status that he has. See many faces here today, and I know that Jerry would have that big smile that he always had. He'd be so proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff Cole. I was thinking that he probably could tell us some really good stories about that highway, especially when they were in high school. But we won't go there. And David Gregory from the Berea Police Chief will now share some thoughts with us.
Thank you, Representative Smart. Just want to say how honored I am to be here with you all this evening, or this daytime now. Just a couple of things I want to say about Sheriff Jerry. and it's reference to service and caring, and I'll get with those two issues in a minute. But on behalf of all the citizens of Berea, he served 30 years in the city, had a great career. That's a long time to serve as a police officer in that community. And I was privileged. I started working with Jerry in 2000 to about 2006, his retirement. We actually shared an office together, or next door to each other, so we've had a lot of good memories that we shared. And one of those that he was passionate about was fishing. And I will do a real quick story. Most when officers retire, they get a service weapon as part of their retirement. Jerry did not want that. He chose a believe it or not, rods and reels. That's what he wanted, was to fish. And I asked him, why do you want that? And he said, well, I can't take guns out with my friends and they can't share it with me. He loved to fish and he was passionate about it. Picked out the brand fishing rod that he wanted. He knew what kind of reels he wanted, the line and everything. So that's what his retirement gift was, rod and reels to share to go fishing. Talk a little bit about his service, and I'll be brief. I can't say much that these people haven't already said. Part of our values at Berea Police Department is our service to community. Jerry, that's one thing that he taught me when I rose through the ranks, is take care of the community and provide the best quality service that you can to your citizens. That was very important to him. And also caring. You could talk to him about anything. He genuinely cared about all the employees at the Berea Police Department and any employee for the city of Berea. He was very passionate about his work. He did narcotics work for many years, and he was passionate about trying to get drugs off the street. And that even came when he went to the sheriff's department. That was his passion, was to try to get rid of all drugs in Madison County. We've had numerous discussions about that and our drug problem. So with that being said, I'll leave it at that. And like I said again, I'm humbled to be here with the family and friends to be able to speak about his service to the community and in particular Madison County. Thank you.
One of the things that I most enjoyed about Jerry Combs, you all know my personality. I love to tease people and have fun. And he was always laughing every time I'd go in his office or every time I'd see him. And I miss that. But I want us to leave today in a feeling of celebration, because that was what he would want. And at this time, I'd like to recognize all of my co-workers in the General Assembly. Our Senator Carpenter is here, and Donna Mayfield, representative from Clark County, who shares part of Madison County. And at this time, I'd like to ask Marie Rader to come up and help me. We don't have much room here. If we had been outside, we'd had more room. But if she will help me unveil the sign, and then Judge, if we could have maybe 5 minutes to do some pictures, would that be okay?
Be great.
So Marie, if you'll come forward, and we will do the unveiling in this wonderful time of recognizing one of our citizens. Fiscal court members, we want to get a picture of you all too. So we'll just do picture. Yeah, let's go forward and let's also look for other citizens that we can recognize. Thank you, Fiscal Court members.
Thank you, Rita.
We appreciate all your work and service. Keep up the good job.
Now, as much as we'd love for all you all to stay and enjoy our court meeting, I'm sure you've got other things to do, so you're welcome.
Put her in the box.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, David. Good to see you. Thank you, David.
And sis, before you crying,
Get the thing down there out there.
raining.
Just don't think about it.
Good boss.
Oh, Larry. Fine, how you doing? Good to see you.
You got to wear.
Dressed up. I mean, how'd you get
GQ, what do you got?
Can't
I
help
think you
it.
got a different one for every time. How you doing? Good, Jerry.
Gotta use what God gives you, fellas.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I know.
I had it on my mind. That's all right. Good to see you.
Send me an email, go kill somebody.
See you, Jared.
Well, it's good.
Before y'all start, the sign person's on vacation, so it'll be about 2 weeks before they get it on.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you, Rita.
Thanks, Rita.
See you.
Well, Superman was gonna wear that for a cape. But he prefers blue. Somebody said you don't take Superman's cape off.
You don't tug
Okay,
on Superman's cape.
it's time to start back in the order of business. Next on the agenda is personnel, solid waste. Is Scott here?
No.
I think he's on vacation. This is Lewis Caulfield. Lewis has completed his CDL training and has passed his test. And Scott really needs him so we can do away with some of the halfway house people. So on Scott's recommendation, motion be in order to hire Mr. Lewis Caulfield at the Solid Waste Department.
So move. Second.
Master King,
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes, he's got 21 years of military service. Real good guy. Next is EMA appointment, and we do this every 4 years, I guess, and of course Carl Richards is our EMA director, and I'd like the court's permission to reappoint Mr. Carl Richards as our EMA director.
So moved.
Second.
Master King.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. Next, also our CSEP director, that's Michael Bryant. And Michael's doing an excellent job, and at this time, I'd like the court's permission to reappoint Michael Bryant as our CSEP director.
So move.
Second.
Master King.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. Judge's report, really just a couple of things to talk about, and there's so many things going on at this time of the year. The Richmond Chamber of Commerce Awards Banquet will be October the 30th at King Johnson. That'll kick off at 6:30. Also, we've got, there's 2 or 3 Halloween hoedowns that are being sponsored by the city, and also Richmond Parks and Recreation. But the big thing will be the hoedown around the courthouse on the 30th, and there are events going on all day to go with that. And then President Benson's inauguration is also Friday, October the 24th at 4:30, and I'm sure there'll be a huge crowd there. I'm looking forward to that. Mike's doing such a wonderful job for EKU and the city of Richmond and Madison County. So I just wanted to make a few of those notations, and that's all I've got in the judge's report. And at this time, I would take comments from department heads.
I've got some
Kenny?
deadlines, judge election coming up. 10/24 is the last day to request a write-in absentee ballot. We can receive those ballots up to the election day, so we're getting close on times. There's a lot of back and forth that goes on with that.
What is that number? 4703?
Yep, 624-4703, and button 2, if you don't want to listen to me talk. Also, tomorrow and the next day, 3:30 and 6 at the Extension Office is election school for precinct officers.
Have you got
Anybody-
enough?
We'll know a whole lot tomorrow at 3:30. That's the biggest class. We can usually tell what kind of shape we're in after that class, but we'll take as many and train as many as we can. So we'll have, because there's always something that comes up between training and election that, folks have to drop out, things happen. So I think we're going to be in good shape this time. And
Got the reduced number of precincts.
reduced number of precincts this time, we should be, and we had enough last time, we should pull in. And there's no in-service for the teachers, it's for the bus drivers and stuff this time, so that's usually helps us out quite a bit. And we're open to absentee vote. Absentee voting ends the day before the election here at the courthouse, so anybody that's going to be out of town on election day or third trimester of pregnancy, emergency medical situation, they can come in and vote here at the courthouse anytime. And that's all I've got.
Thanks, Kenny.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Carl? Leroy?
I have one road to recommend the court to take into county system, Taylor's Fork Road. It's 940 feet. Mike Wolf extended it 940 feet for him and his sisters, and also he built a new house. And he brought it up to county standard, and I've inspected it. So it's ready to be taken in. And also he did build a good turnaround for the trucks and buses where it stops.
Any questions? Not upon Leroy's recommendation, a motion to include the second phase of Taylor Fork.
Second.
Master King?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Thanks, Leroy. Any other department heads? If not, comments from magistrates. Greg?
Everything's going pretty good.
Thank you. Roger?
I just want to thank Leroy. I know they've been all over the county blacktopping and patching and trying to get ready for the winter. What about our salt? We got our salt in or what? No, bit of that.
We've got a contract, but no salt yet.
Okay. But everything's looking good, and last time they mowed, it just had hit where it had rained, and you know, it's been tough to keep up with because of between doing everything else. I know, but the grass, it grows so quick. When it does rain, it just pops up like overnight, and I know they can't get back, but they've done a good job of trying to take care of it. As far as the ferry is concerned, we took a trip down to Tompkinsville where they're building their new boat. The boat's looking good. They've had the motors and everything in it. They took them back out to paint it now, and we're hoping, besides that, the ferry barge is coming out this Friday. We'll be closed this Friday till we get it finished. Could be as much as 3 to 4 weeks out of the water. This is a U.S. Coast Guard inspection, dry docking, where the barge is taken out, sandblasted, painted, and inspected. If there's any steel that's rusted, they make us cut it out and weld pieces back in. So we don't know till we get it out and sandblast it how long it'll be. But with all that being said, when it gets ready to go back in, we're hoping that our new boat will be ready to hook up to the barge all at the same time. Its timing's working out pretty good. We don't know how close it'll be, but looking pretty close. We've got a buyer for our old boat. The only problem we got is we have to hold it for them for maybe 2 or 3, 4 weeks We gotta make sure it's tied up good or put somewhere where we can make sure when the water gets up, it don't try to wash it away. Other than that, everything's doing good.
Thank you, Roger. Bill Ray?
Doug, how many customers you got?
Around 330.
330.
One that are in Grant County also.
Yeah, you know, you want to bring us some thoughts and ideas on the
I'm going to make that a whole meeting. We had the presentation today and stuff. Yeah, I'll have it just shortly. Larry?
Well, Judge, I just want to thank Representative Rita Smart and Representative Rader for honoring Jerry and naming that highway. That's very nice. And now that I look back, I see why Jerry chose my call. And he's carrying on what he started and improving in a lot of areas, and I appreciate that, Mike. And that's a testimony for you, for him to choose you, because he had that much belief in you, and I do too. But other than that, Judge, I'm just glad to be here.
Glad you're here, Larry. Any comments from the audience? Anybody would like to come up, say anything at all? If not, the next court date will be October 28th. One of the highlights there is Craig Williams will be coming in and giving us a quarterly update on what's going on at the D-Mill facility. So he's putting that together and he'll be ready. But should be a good meeting. And if that's it, the motion to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Second?
Master King?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes. Thank everybody for coming in. We appreciate it. And motion to adjourn.
All in